Beginning in December 2010, she was visited by the FBI Domestic Terrorism Unit. Her personal returns and her business returns were both audited by the IRS. She received 4 FBI inquiries. In her business, received unsolicited audits, unscheduled audits by OSHA, the Commission on Environmental Quality, and the ATF twice. Now, this is a citizen and a small businesswoman who had never been audited by the IRS or any of these agencies until she applied to you for tax-exempt status for her Tea Party. You know, the broader question here, is this still America? Is this government so drunk on power that it would turn its full force, its full might, to harass and intimidate and threaten an average American who only wants her voice and their voices heard?
What did you do to start this?
Well, I thought that it might be appropriate to get involved in a way that I thought would be not a blip on anybody's radar screen. We filed a nonprofit application in July of 2010, and since then we have been visited by 17 different instances of government agency involvement and have been put through a mill that I never imagined possible.
17 different visits from some federal agency. Had you ever had any kind of audit or visit from federal agencies up until that point?
No, sir. This is a first.
And tell us about the organization that you even were creating, True the Vote. I mean, is it some subversive group that threatens to blow up buildings? I mean, this sounds pretty serious if you've got all these federal agencies coming after you. So what is it that your organization even does?
True the Vote was designed to encourage citizens to work at the polls. We provide training, nonpartisan training for people to work in the polls, for people to look at their voter rolls and make sure that all of us, every eligible voter, has an opportunity to participate in a free and a fair election. I had no idea the political minefield that we were walking into.
Yeah, you file these papers, and what was the first contact you had from the IRS, and what did they want to know?
The first contact we had from the IRS, just a first general round of questions. They wanted to know things like, we want to see every Facebook posting you've ever posted, every tweet you've ever tweeted. We want to know everywhere you've ever spoken since the inception of your organization, and to whom and what you said, and where you intend to speak through 2013. At some point, those questions cross a line.
Now, I've seen a picture, and I think we have it. I want to put it up on the screen. This is a picture of a notebook with all the different filings, all of the different requests that you had to submit to the IRS. Is that an accurate? I mean, it's as tall as a soda can. So that's what they've asked you for.
Yes. That's one round. That's one round of our questions. Yes, we've been asked hundreds and hundreds of questions. Yes, sir.
And what were some of the most intrusive questions that you were posed, that were posed to you?
Oh, I think the questions that wanted to know more about my future intent, my family. I started all of this because I wanted to create a better future for my children. And the thought that our government is now asking very specific and personal questions about my future intentions makes me a little uncomfortable.
Catherine, one of the things that I find interesting, I mean, you filed with the IRS. The next thing you're hearing from the FBI, OSHA, other federal agencies, the BATF. What did they want to know?
Oh, you know, all manner of things. The FBI was interested in the people who were coming to our programs. The Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms was interested in having us open our safes and pull out our guns so that they could take the serial numbers.
Wait a minute, let me make sure I understand. They ask you to open your safe at home?
Oh, no. Let me make sure I'm real clear.
Okay.
We have a license that as a manufacturer, we could make gun parts if we chose to. Now, we don't do that. And it's also important to note that the agencies like BATF, like OSHA, who came in, have the authority to do so. What is concerning, though, is the rapid succession of their visits the extensive unplanned audits upon their arrival, and the fact that in 20 years of business previous, we'd never seen any of those agencies.
20 years you go, none of these people ever show up at your door. You file this application with the IRS, and suddenly you have how many visits? I want to clarify. How many visits from federal agencies since that time?
We've had 17 interactions, and I'm counting now the rounds of questioning with the IRS, but 17.
Now, Catherine, we were talking about why you came forward. Why did you open up and start talking about what appears to most of us to be a form of harassment from the federal government?
Well, Governor, I really didn't have any intention on coming forward. I really thought that the best way I could protect my family would be to keep my head down. And when the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms came the second time, something in me said, this has gone too far. And we began the process of putting together a timeline with no idea that just a few weeks later, the IRS would come out and admit to targeting organizations that had pro-liberty values. What has now occurred to me is that the best way I can protect my family is to come forward and bring my story to the American people. And I submit that there are thousands more with stories just like mine to tell. And I hope that they'll tell them, because we are at an important time in the life of our country, and we need to get the truth.
Let's talk about what it has cost you. And I'm not just talking about time, but you had to hire attorneys and accountants to go through all these records, answer all of these questions. You talked about one round. The notebook fills a notebook as high as a soda can. Do you have any estimate of how much this has cost you and your family, not to defend yourself against criminal charges, just to answer a relentless series of government questions?
I guess the scope of all we've been through has probably come into the range of hundreds of thousands of dollars. But what is incalculable are the lost opportunity costs. Because as a practical matter, if you don't have a nonprofit status that allows you to apply for grants, that allows foundations to work with you, it has a very limiting effect on your capacity to do what you want to do. So it's been a struggle.
Congressman Brady brought your case before the House Ways and Means Committee. Did you know in advance that he was going to use your case as an example of the overreach of these federal agencies?
I didn't know that. I knew that my timeline was there up at the Capitol, and I knew that people were talking about it. But the truth is the truth, and it came out, and so be it. I'll stand by everything that's been said, and I look forward to future opportunities to talk at much greater detail about what we've been through.